Darla and the Dungeon. East Village dive bars are dropping off faster than a prom dress in a pickup truck. Dave's Tap Room, Broadway Charlie's, Downtown Beirut, Cheap Shots, Grassroots, Continental, Coal Yard, The Central, just to name a few. I dropped by Double Down Saloon for happy hour and I run into my old pal Brenda from Dave's. Looks like she got herself a handsome new lover boy. Looks to be a good bit younger than her, too. She introduces him as Bungie. And I ask, what the hell kind of name is Bungie? Brenda says his real name's Russell, but she likes to call him Bungie because he's had a pretty fucked up life and he always seems to bounce back and be positive. Well, we chat for a bit, with Bungie adding that he lives in a loft on Attorney Street by the Parkside Lounge, and he mostly writes and publishes online flash fiction and hustles for cash with hydroponic computer-controlled grow in his loft, mostly high-end yellow haze. Says his product's excellent, sells really well with his downtown bar buddies. I'm liking Brenda's new guy. He's a writer, he's cool, and I want to cop some of that yellow haze, too. I asked Brenda how she's doing since Bubba passed and Dave's closed. She said she's still living in that walk-up in Chinatown with Bubba's teenage daughter, Darla. What? I didn't know Bubba had a daughter. Seems like her mama's a junkie hooker who runs a steady trail in and out of lockup. Darla leaves home at 15 and couch bounces with different schoolmates from St. Bridget's while trying to track down her dad. She scours local bars and junkie crash pads, eventually learns that Bubba passed and that he had a wife who lives in Chinatown. So long story short, Darla finds Brenda, moves in with her, and she's a senior now at St. Bridget's High School. Her grades are good, and she wants to be a nurse. Damn. I asked Brenda how she's getting by for rent money. She says times are tough, so she and some of the other out-of-work bar jockeys opened up their own joint, private club, in a basement on 3rd Street across from the Hells Angels. She remembered a Puerto Rican social club called El Gallo Rojo that was busted for illegal cockfighting and shut down. Was sitting there empty for a year, and she checks with the landlord, and he gives her a 2-year lease for $1,100 a month. They all pitch in and fix the joint up till it looks like a real bar again. And it doesn't smell like chicken shit anymore. They contact a lot of their old regulars, so call them to join the club for $25 and they get a big turnout. It's called The Dungeon, been open about 6 months. She invites me to join. Well, tells me she works noon to 6 on Monday to Friday and it's usually open till around 2 or 3 in the morning. They're doing good, it's fun, and drinks are only $5. I stopped by the club following day around 4. Stepping carefully down the crumbling cement steps out of bright sunlight into a dark space. Definitely justifies the dungeon name. As my eyes slowly adjust, I find it looks a lot like the old dives in the neighborhood. There's a jukebox, pool table, dartboard, DJ setup, even a small space for dancing, probably where the cocks used to fight. Coming as no surprise, sitting at the bar below the TV is a Maxwell House coffee can with the Yankees cap over the top. I hug Brenda, tap the can, and say, "Hey, Bubba," and I offer up my $25 to join the club. There's a striking young girl in a Catholic school uniform sitting at the far end of the bar smoking. She looks totally out of place among the bar regulars. Brenda introduces her as Bubba's daughter, Darla. She doesn't like being alone in the apartment, so she hangs out here after school till Brenda gets off. She looks like a biracial gal with olive skin, striking blue eyes, and long blonde dreads. She's wearing a pleated plaid miniskirt, saddle shoes, and white blouse. She gives her mom a big hug while smiling seductively at me. I'm thinking there's a lot more going to be heard from this one. Every Saturday is theme music night at the Dungeon, with DJs Miss Cal and Oscar spinning the hits. There's punk mosh nights, shit kicker rockabilly nights, disco night, high hair heavy metal nights, and even swing dance contests with gals sporting vintage dresses and guys in zoot suits. I quickly become a Dungeon regular, and I'm staying out there on the dance floor with my sexy 70s moves. Everybody knows everybody. Everyone dances, drinks, smokes, and tokes with everybody. It's even better than the old days and the bars they close, because it's more like family here. They're making the rent, the bartenders are making a decent living, and life is good at the Dungeon. I stopped by on a Thursday afternoon to hang at the bar for a few hours, only find the place closed. peek in the window and it's dark. Even the neon beer signs are off. I text Brenda and I ask what's up. She says, meet me at Double Down in an hour. I walk in to find her sipping a whiskey, staring blankly at the vintage porn on the bar monitor. Looks like a digitized black and white of an old 8mm from the 40s with a naked bald guy wearing only black socks going down on some chubby chick with a dark barbed wire triangle of a bush. It's actually pretty funny. If you ever been to Double Down, that's what they have there. I grab the stool next to Brenda and order a double jack back and ask what's going on with the dungeon. Brenda lets out a deep sigh, chokes up and trying to fight back tears. She swills down her whiskey and takes a deep breath. She says Darla starts bringing two of her friends over to smoke and hang out with her after school every day. Unknown to Brenda, they're sneaking vodka from behind the bar and poured it in their cokes when she's busy or not paying attention. More than one occasion, Darla's friends are noticed by regulars staggering out of the bar. Sonny, the president of the Hells Angels, stops by, tells Brenda that the girls in uniforms leaving the bar are attracting too much attention in the neighborhood. The Angels are concerned the police be snooping around soon. He mentioned the cockfight that was here before and the police attention it caused. He says, as of right now, we're closing you down. You all got 2 days to get your shit out of here. You're not welcome on this block anymore. You understand me? You get what I'm saying? Brenda nods and starts sobbing as he turns and leaves. Darla and the girls stare in shocked silence. Everybody's out of work now, and they're all really pissed at Brenda for fucking up a good thing. She's back on welfare and very depressed. Darla keeps her head down and her mouth shut when Brenda's around these dark days. She's scared. Brenda stays curled up in the bed, crying a lot. Time passes slow and hard now for them.
Yes. There never will be enough again. Beer, cigarettes, torch songs, jukeboxes, dive bars, alibis, confessions, candles, ivory sheets, tinted puce, regrets, triumphs, bitter tears, hysterical laughter, toe-curling orgasms, trains, car rides, getting lost and being found with a guilty party, sound beaches, ocean beaches, Long Island Bay beaches, resort motel pools in October in Montauk, that park next to the dog run from the Flatron building, and the Chrysler building nightlight shone in the window of the old Bedford Hotel at midnight. There will never be another you or me.
Cheap shots. Most days I feel like I'm dream walking through a life that's a graveyard. Ghost voices from all the bars I ever hung out in call out to me to come home. I know I belong there with them. Yet I struggle to exist in the real world. I spent a lifetime faking it and do what I have to do to keep it together. I'm really good at it, but they're still calling me. In some dark corner of my soul, I know I was born to be there with them, destined to sit alone forever on a stool at the far end of some dive bar. Somehow I escaped, managed to have a real life for a while thanks to a woman who cared enough to love me in spite of myself. She's gone now. They're still out there, waiting for me to come back. I used to think I could escape for good, but I know it's my real home, the only place I've ever really belonged. I feel like I'm destined to spend eternity in a broken down bus station bar in some shithole city drinking bottom shelf rot gut, feeling lonely and sad, and wishing for a life that I already have.
However, there is some good news as we follow the local Trinity. Night after night, I'd watch him, insisting upon tossing a pair of blank dice and snapping his fingers and hissing, "What are the odds? What are the odds?" while the perfume of the moon would linger in the air, echoing, what are the odds? What are the odds? Night after night, I'd watch him and remark, you know, this is strictly none of my business, but are you aware those are blank dice? He regarded this and simply remarked, doesn't change the game or the odds, that you are just not another ugly American addicted behind the wheel, looking for the action, the sure thing, the deal, knowing you settle for the rhyme, the peel, the squeal. He had been a wannabe so long that the never-was in him grew curious as to whatever happened to that tired old has-been. Want to see where the wannabe lingered too long getting around to informing his never-was to look up that tired old has-been and have a little fun with his ass. You want to know how the wannabe was elevated to the status of the has-been and being allowed to skip the never-was designation altogether? It happened on that night when the never-was happened to run into the has-been at the bar and grabbed himself fistfuls of lapels and snarled, who the hell never was? He wasn't quite finished yet, however. With their jaws inches apart, he snapped, listen, I was a nobody before you were even thinking wannabe, and my has-been will see your dick in the dirt. So what are the odds? What are the odds? What are the odds? Maybe some night you're down at the bar and the three of them stroll in on the perfume of the moon. The wannabe buying them all around, while the never-was fishes out the dice again with the pocket. But it's the has-been who was holding court with the bartender. And if you lean in a little closer, you can hear him saying, of course the dice are blank. He knows that. What'd you expect? Why do you think they call them bones? You'd be better off watching where you step on the way up or on the way down, because it might be small potatoes, but they're your potatoes, and because you never know who might have heard the footsteps. Yeah, footsteps. They echo like this. If you can remember where when, you can remember how now. All right.
Nobody wants to get crazy anymore. I don't know exactly when or what the fuck happened, but nobody wants to get crazy anymore. Nobody seems to have the need to blow off steam and scream. After a couple of weeks of trying to be normal, I need to get crazy, if only for a couple hours, just to stay sane. All my get crazy friends keep getting married, getting sober, getting religion, getting in rehab, getting in shape, or getting dead. I've parted my ways through 5 generations of get crazy friends. I keep losing them to real life. Nobody wants to get crazy anymore. What the fuck happened?